1v setup for the first to make it to the new zone. Meanwhile, Pink finds Miro. He's down and out on high ground as well. Trulex and Chicho set up for success. So we're already looking at a very big game. Remember, with just 5 in front of us, a huge performance is really all it takes to give you the leg up, put you in the spot to walk away straight to Sunday and not have an early day of competition tomorrow.
But here's a little early glimpse into the leaderboard so far in match number 1. And Thomas, Malabuka, they seem to be leading the charge. And with Ping and Kyrie having just been freshly eliminated there, this is a moment. We saw Malabuka and Thomas looking to see as though they might try to work their way up through that secondary height layer. But as far as Mustache and Payson are concerned, they know they've got teams surrounding them every which way. Right now, it's about picking the right direction to go. And a lot of these teams trying to avoid some of the water that's just on side of the zone.
NA just has a few teams alive. Acorn and Cold being one of them. Baka and Pars. Cooper is up still too. Meanwhile, Queasy and Vino, some of EU's best on the move right now. Crash Rat's perfectly putting them in position right now. But Snazy and Plotoside fall on this rotate here. A very tough time for them. Indeed, Queasy playing for high ground right now. This is what we love about Queasy, but no, someone's gonna shut that dream down. All the material commit there put to waste as now they have been crushed there, but here comes Vino to go and reconnect, and high ground is theirs here.
King, meanwhile, on the opposite end of the spectrum, as a solo forced into the water, swimming through this ultimate low ground, hoping that he doesn't encounter anybody else anytime soon, but it's gonna be mixing off to his side, not able to connect the shot, swims directly underneath a duo, and it's gonna be an opportunity for Strokey to possibly get knocked. No, instead it's gonna be King under pressure, and it's too much. The elimination onto the Brazilian King.
Yeah, the comms come out, they say, wait, there's someone under here. Come down, support me, and with no hesitation, there was Strokey and Kylie just coming on in, getting the full finish there. Here's Pars and Baka. Baka so hurt, but 6 eliminations, my gosh. They are doing it again. They did it at the Invitational. They're doing it at the championship so far. Remember, this is going to be arguably the most difficult bracket to fight your way out of. It is, of course, the 50 best that played through their respective times of those seasons throughout this entire year.
But look up, it's Queasy, it's Veno. They get chopped momentarily by Mustache, but it's still not seeming to deter them from maintaining control of this high ground. Mustache now hoping that this legendary Slurp Juice is going to buy him enough time to get out of this difficult position that he's landed into with Payson and Cold. Meanwhile, backside of the zone, trying to charge his way forward, looking to stay as close to Acorn as possible, because as things continue to move, you can expect all these other duos to follow suit. And Alex gonna eat a shot immediately, Alin.
Meanwhile, high ground goes for a fight here. Mustache and Tayson trying to take it all away. They take down OCE's power. Alex as well there. Big find for him. But no, they have to conclude. They have to concede it. They give it down. Queasy puts up the fight against Tayson and puts him down as well. No material left for the high ground team. A very tough spot to be in, but it's all or nothing now. The end game is already theirs. This is surely a successful run already. Reet is still up too.
But they just need barely enough builds to actually connect it to the hill over this water where everyone else is trying to deal with it. Reet, though, alongside Ritual, everything in his power here, gets the elimination onto Acorn. It looks as though Queasy may have fallen in the feed as well.
What a big trade here. Just a couple players left now. This is it. Vino solo here, but he does have builds. The clutch is possible. He's also one of the healthiest here on the lobby. Strokey doesn't have much to work with. He also can't get up and over. It's going to come down to the siphon of whether or not he can get the conclusion, and Vino does. But getting here, finds Strokey in the finish, and Vino wins the game.
This is starting to look pretty familiar, Monster. Queasy and Veno striking. NA definitely striking back.
Baka, Par still alive. Ritual still alive. Even Okis is up right now. Saw him mixed in the feed. Those are a few of the NA competitors that are up. I do wonder, where is Ziamzo? As he was also inside the top 10. If teams can continue to keep up that pacing there. But meanwhile, the story right now is how far can Seti push this here? That's it. Rocket Ram usage out. 45. Make that 49 damage above the surge now. Halfway through material. This is a tough spot to be in. Here's Ziamzo's look. Mid to high ground here. moving all the way across. Beautifully done in clean execution on the rotate here. He actually takes down Middle Eastern's hero there. So that was that second to high ground team, and now they just have to deal with Queasy and Vino. If they can do just that, they will be the kings of the top.
It's almost like dealing with a final boss at this point as far as Queasy and Veno are concerned, but so long as they're in the match, teams are going to have to look out. Cole, though, with Acorn, doing an excellent job taking out Sphinx and Oyo. That's going to clear things up for them as far as these immediate third players are concerned. Seti, though, again, the fact that he is still kicking despite being a solo for so long here, MDF, what a fantastic display of his experience.
I just can't wait till we get another listen in later, because you know Cammy and Seti are putting down the comms needed here to navigate through this game so effortlessly, making it look easy. Meanwhile, on the low ground, here's Middle East. Fahad here, representing 4 elims right now. What a big spot to be in, showing us just how good they really are. And let's again not forget, this is the Global's best tier. Joining us for the upper bracket, you had to perform in the upper tier of the 50 to be here today. Kanata falls inside the top 16 there. Very far push for him, but not good enough.
Yamzo and Rise just doing such a great job leading the charge on the low ground at the front side of the zone. Just doing their best to cut off everybody that keeps trying to traverse into their territory. As now Yeman will meet the same fate as so many others so far. Seti, though, still managing to tarp his way through, but running so incredibly low, only has 8 builds to make that 6 left to his name, hoping that he can find a straggling refresh anywhere.
The one who's going to find that refresh is Fahad, and he finds Okus there straggling in the distance. But hold up, here's Reed. No ritual in sight by himself. We already seen him do it once. He clutches up, goes in and takes down Pars. Once friends, now enemies here on the stage. Meanwhile, Seti says, hold up, you want hype for free? Not when I'm in the lobby. Down goes Geras, and a quick trade there, but Shari comes to the rescue here for his teammate, and he is the new king of hype for a second. But Acorn Cold, representing for NA, not known for the big elims, but so far the placement points exactly where you expect it to be. Here's Yamzo. Yamzo, clap from the side here. Rise left to do it by himself. He cannot flirt with the storm here. Acorn's clutching at the moment.
Acorn's trying to do what he can. He's got that auto Maven primed and ready, but at the same time, even with the Maven auto, he's not going to be able to miss a singular shot. He has hardly any HP to work with when you consider the shield that he's missing. He's doing a great job so far. Just continuing fight time. Only 1 build left, though. This next moment has to be his best. Flixie doesn't see it coming as Acorn finds the elimination he needs. Just enough builds to keep going up.
Absolutely clean elimination there. Shari now looking for it. They have 9 eliminations. Acorn goes all the way up. Needs to come on down. Knows where his opponent is, and he's looking for him. But the zone is ticking, gets right into it. He knows he's got a couple opportunities here. It's all or nothing now. 1 shot will be it, but no, it won't be enough. Still, though, 4 eliminations in a second place there. And Shari take home the second game now alongside Geras.
Seti nearly playing smartly there for Shari.
But again, Baka Pars looking downwards on them, putting that infinite upwards pressure here, not making it look easy at all here. He's going to have to concede for a bit. It's cost him a lot. He's going to have to take some of Vino's inventory as well. So Vino trusting in Queasy to lead the rotate here.
It's all about that middle, though, at this point for Queasy, especially when you know that you're having some pressure being applied to you from the high ground. The more durable your builds, the better. As far as understanding, though, which way he wants to tarp Queasy, recognizing the fact that he's got his chance right now. Just keep building up. And again, with it being metal, it's so difficult for teams to really take a second to try and chop them out just yet. Queasy gotta look for the connect onto some of these other builds, but dropping down ever so slightly, still maintaining the height overall, though.
And that's what I do best. Limited builds to just get there, connects it to a structure in the distance, but Cammy and Seti are looking backwards and they're saying, no, not today, not in this lobby. I want to fight for it as well. We need a big game here. We need it now. And all of a sudden now they are the most resistant on the front side of the zone here. But if they don't put pressure back, we know what's going to happen. Vino, Queasy will run with this.
Seti and Cammy aren't careful. Keep in mind where their builds were starting to go towards. I mean, with the direction that Queasy's headed, at least, it almost seems as though they might headbutt each other on high ground at the moment here. But instead, it's Acorn, a bit sneaky with the crash pad. But he's continuing to hang around. He wants that front side of the zone, but hanging just on the edge of it.
And I just love how we're seeing, again, NA's best and EU's best, right? Back to back here, two different perspectives, two totally different layers. Acorn and Cold, again, just excellent low ground teams playing to what they play best, and they're doing it well here. Meanwhile, you do, of course, have your other teams fighting for height, so an excellent play to watch unfold here, but we jump into Pars, and end game for Pars here, too. No Baka. The least amount of elims we've seen so far, but it is a single one, so far of the three, they put up numbers every time. Now we jump in with Muzz and Paper, turning online right now, 6 eliminations. Could this be their game? One big pop-up will put you up in that top 25, surely.
It's been a relatively quiet day for Muzz and Paper so far, so this could be a massive moment if they're able to seize it. Sitting on the low ground, though, Acorn and Cold. They can tell there's players trying to make their way around the edges next to them. 2 crash pads remain here at Acorn's disposal. Cold following closely behind. Cammy and Seti, though, they seem to be making an idea all their own.
Oh, this is crazy. From the backside here, they find the tag, and Vino's hurt. And this might be the new high ground. Cammy, Seti coming in out of nowhere, and they swing things around. Queasy's hurt. Vino's fully healthy, but no! Things change so quickly. Acorn and Cold finish him. And now Queasy's by himself, but still, excellent end game for them. They're going to be happy with a top 10. Meanwhile, Paper and Muzz continue to force their way in here. 8 elims now, probably the most that are alive at the moment. Trailing behind another team, and Paper's going to fall there.
And unfortunately, Muzz to follow suit, but Merstash still up and kicking. Seti, though, with a massive hit, and that's the back-to-backs now onto Robop. But the materials refresh, it might not do him any good. He's not able to break into the zone in time. Acorn instead will be here to play cutoff, as now Merstash forced underneath it all. Larkpix as well, living as a solo. This is looking like Acorn and Cold's game for the taking.
And Acorn's doing an excellent job pressuring with the breach of shotgun, making sure no one's got a chance to breathe, but Larkpix is still going. He's found 2. That's 11 eliminations for Larkpix on the low. But NA takes the game. Acorn and Cold, the shrug.
He's making it look like it was exactly his plan. It's just
chance to shine. This is your chance to pick up those points. And you kind of saw it at the start of the day with Queasy and Vino. 90+ points for that victory royale combined with 7 eliminations, so anything is definitely possible. And that's why Bugha and Threats are putting themselves to the test now. They have 4 eliminations and barely any placement points just to them. There's 24th place and 24 teams still left alive, so there's still so many possible points up for grabs.
But the best part is, Threats and Bugha, they're at least still together as we enter this late game, which is something we have not really had a chance to see from this duo all day today. It's been repetitive as far as solo clutch circumstances are concerned, and they just haven't really been able to bring anything to fruition because of that. Pink and Vico, though, under a lot of pressure here from Malabuka and Thomas. So many other teams surrounding them. Sometimes it can be really difficult to tell just which direction your builds are actually getting targeted from.
They survived the off-spawn battle between Acorn and Cold. This is their chance to shine, even though they don't have much to work with. We've seen them do amazing things before. Vico, one of the more aggressively skilled players, and forget on top of the world when it comes to Fortnite. They're going astronomical, building off of the moon towards Relentless Retreat, trying to hold on to their high ground. They have the rocket ram for backup as well. So if anybody looks up, tries to chop them down, they do have a plan B. Pink getting a couple more eliminations. Thomas, Malabuka, bypassing everybody else. They're trying to stay to the front side of the zone, looking back only when they have to. They have their eyes set on the prize for now.
But I wonder if anybody realizes just how far up Cammy and Seti are. Vico, he needed a refresh instead. He'll find himself waiting for game number 5 to begin. As Seti, Cammy, we see Seti up so right now with the rocket round. Who he comes crashing down on is another story to be decided, because Yamzo and Rise, they're under fire right now. Yamzo's gonna drop all the way to the water. Realizes, tries to escape, but not able to. Mixon and Blaha instead, the only ones seemingly able to continue pressing forward in this mid-low ground layer.
4 solos running around this lobby full of duos. Queasy and Vino, again, these guys are impressive, consistently finding a way to go for that high ground. Just a test here, just like in the first game, they're looking to hold on to it, get that victory royale. Another elimination being found by Malabuka. Their total as a team does move up to 5. 12 teams remain. These are the points that they were looking for. They started this game in 23rd place. This game alone, if they come out on top, could qualify them to Championship Sunday, but the fight continues. Cold and Acorn just trying to tear everybody down, even if that means it's their NA counterpart as Pars and Baka fall.
If there's one thing that Cold loves to do, it's play disruptor on the low ground layers. Because now Seti, Cammy, they're actually going to be able to retake height because Queasy and Veno, they're no longer here. At some point, they winded up falling. Queasy himself potentially eliminated from this match. And we're seeing everyone below, Cammy and Seti, just doing what they can to stay alive. But Thomas and Malabuka, they have been on a rampage in these lower layers.
Yep. Cammy gets another one onto Muzz, finding him as a solo. Another player is going to drop. Sphinx and Poyo, who absolutely came out of nowhere on the NA region to claim their spot here in Major 2. But they don't want just the spot. They want to take over. Thomas finds another elimination, taking down Seti. Now the high ground has changed, and they're trying to keep it for themselves. Acorn gets sniped out of the air with the sharp tooth, and now we're into our final 4 teams left alive. But 2 of them are solos. One of them is Cammy. He's trying to do what he can to try to bypass with that men miss, falling down low to the low ground. He goes down. A 2v2 situation. Sphinx and Poyo drop them into the palm of their hands, but a nice shot's going to be traded off. But a down onto Thomas, and they take the game. NA on top, thanks to Poyo and Sphinx.
What a massive comeback, though, from Poyo and Sphinx. I mean, 12 eliminations, given that they were in.
I drop go down to Ping, so that's another team eliminated out of this lobby. King and Phaser, though, they're still in it, and they're here to win it overall. You see the loot getting passed around. They have quite some distance to cover and a lot of players to run through if they want to make it there.
On the bright side, though, they're not the only ones that have a decent amount of map coverage to go. Granted, when you are one of those last teams to come in behind everybody else, your primary concern is going to be, well, depending on where those other teams are situated, depending on where they're positioned, they might be able to cut me off entirely. And that's exactly what King and Phaser are trying to avoid. They're trying to make their way to zone as quickly as possible so that they can be the ones controlling the way that the lobby actually flows.
Yeah, they don't want to get held out. They want to do the holding. They're rotating parallel to both Muzz and Paper, a team that is inside of the top 25. I wouldn't say they're as safe as can be. Anything could still happen. But Phaser's doing a good job of leading the charge. Found themselves a little bit of spot where they can hold up for now, but they're getting focused by a couple players in this lobby. Alex Worthy being one of them on the other side. He continues to peek through the cone. 81 below Taco. This isn't looking good for now.
They might not have the damage threshold just yet, but they do have a few crash pads. Phaser gonna instantly use one to jump a little bit further, a little bit more up on that height as well, but the shots come through all the way across the lobby, and that's going to be an instantaneous, not just about onto Phaser. King now under heavy duress, trying to do what he can, forced to build down, forced to drop numerous layers, but again, with this legendary Slurp Juice, will be able to just barely prevent himself from being eliminated by the damage threshold tags off of the Storm Surge, but still, it is tough stuff right now for King.
Yeah, if it wasn't Trulex and Chicho on the other side, it's Storm Surge. They're below the threshold. Even with the Slurp Juice pops, they're taking a lot of damage, but Rise Yamzo, team who took down Kanata and Aders in the beginning, well, it's just Kanata this time around, but if he can go back to his OG self, we used to call him one of the more prolific solo players in the game, being able to pick up a massive amount of points, a huge amount of clutches. We saw Agers do it in their major championship run. Now it's Kanata's turn to pick up the pace. You see him going low. He doesn't have a lot of builds, not a lot of resource. The only thing he really has going for him is the damage threshold when it comes to Storm Surge.
A nice little gift, though, just on the ground. Managed to pick up some materials. It's going to provide him more than the 4 builds he had initially to work with. Shot him up to 30, but still, Kanata also now with this Icy Breacher in tow, breaking through the floors of some of these builds and just hoping that there is not a full team on the other side of it, because you're looking at a 1v1 with not a decent chance, but 2 versus 1 situations is tough for any player to deal with.
There are more teams left alive right now that are outside of the top 25 trying to earn their spot than there is inside of the top 25. And placement points haven't even begun to kick in yet. That puts a lot of pressure on the King. He's already survived Storm Surge once. He has the Slurp Juice. He has a couple minis, but he's still 123 below. He's not even peeking out going for shots. He's just trying to survive it. But if he looks down low, there's a bit of loot. I thought I saw the tip of a big pot down there as well, which will be crucial for his survival. You finally look down. There's a med mist as well. He found a treasure trove and a miracle to keep himself alive. But he knows he needs to go. He knows he needs to continue moving forward, get towards the zone. You don't want to fall behind, but a nice shot from the backside. King forced to stabilize himself, stop the rotation. So that means a lot of teams are going to be able to hop over him and get to zone first.
Again, right now, it seems the King, he's trying to prioritize positioning, just hoping that some other team, some other solo gets eliminated first, and that could potentially put him to where he actually isn't below that search threshold. But Kanata right now, just barely clinging on, but it won't be enough. Finally finds himself eliminated from the lobby. Unfortunate run there for Kanata and Aegis in our final game of the day. Yeah,
at least he got this experience of playing on the big stage, because he's going to have to go again tomorrow against our last chance major teams. Zaxidus and his teammate have the high ground. They started this game on the bubble. You got to imagine they've been climbing up that ladder, just like Bugha and Threats. You talked about it yourself. You even casted it throughout the day. They have yet to play a solid game as a duo. This is their chance. But the solos trying to push back both Alex and Worthy as well. A lot of damage being done here by Storm Surge, not even these players.
We're seeing so many teams, though, struggling with Storm Surge, but for Bugha and Threats, they were over 800 damage above. They can focus entirely on how they choose to actually tarp through some of these congested layers, and right now, Miro, forced into a solo position, won't have any sort of time to try and help out Cooper in the process. We are simply too deep into these moving zones at this point, as now Miro finds himself in a decent amount of pressure. A couple of slash flashes, all of his slash flashes actually going to be expended here. As Miro trying to see if he can find an opening from the backside of the zone. Nutty from the side though. Wow. Clean shot onto 7-man. And a quick build up to utilize his med kit.
Quick moving, quick reacting, but not quick enough. That's Cowgamer and 7-man. A big game's needed from them. They could boost themselves into that top 25 as well. Bugha and Threats, 5 eliminations so far, peeking down low, trying to recycle some of these builds because they know they don't got much left. A refresh or a siphon mask, anything is what they're looking for. And they even split it between them two, so it's even less for an individual. They fall on top of Alex. Can they get that elimination? Can they get the siphon? Yes, they can. Off the back of Threats, who gets a double elimination and push themselves into the top 10.
Just barely there. No, Bugha actually going to find himself trapped just outside. He won't be able to make it in time. And the knock from that surge damage, that's so tough. The Storm is going to be his ultimate competitor. But Threats still up. Threats still trying to move forward. Doesn't have much left in the med mist though. Needs to find a refresh at this point.
It's almost 100% necessary, but these points that he's grabbing here, staying alive, 7 eliminations as well. This could be enough, but it's definitely going to be a buzzer beater if I've ever seen one myself, and he's continuing to bypass everybody. But on the high ground, it's Yamzo and Rise that are trying to take this last and final game of the day. A few teams actually that are stuck down low still need this shot to try to qualify. Misha and Teen is one of them. Trulex and Chicho, they probably already got their spot, but Threats does it yet again. Another elimination, trying to go ahead and keep him and Bugha's dream alive.
But for Threats, he didn't find any sort of white heals, which he needed. Granted, it might not be necessary. Almost found the closing shot there onto Rise, but with the Yamzo there to back him up, it's no problem whatsoever. And we are seeing one of NA's finest with a victory royale for the day close.
I call them one of the most dangerous teams coming into the Global Championship.
Take a look at a list of the 25 players that have qualified. A couple of names, let's just call them out. Obviously, we saw some of the big ones. I wanted to quickly highlight Zagu right here and Peppo-Clip. Obviously, we saw them back in the days of Invitational. For them, though, back then, day 2 didn't quite hit as hard. But now, making it through to Sunday, they have time to prepare. And hopefully, they'll bring some heat.
30